Hey, welcome back. Vale is the largest iron producer on the planet with operations in Brazil, North America, China, Australia and more. Like any other mining company out there, the stock depends a lot on the price of the commodity, and in this case we can see a lot of ups and downs similar to the price of iron. But this volatility can represent a very nice opportunity, because if you manage to buy this kind of company when nobody wants to hear about them, you can make not only a quick 2, 3, 4x, but also get some massive dividends on the side. We can see that in Q3 they made around 1.1 billion in cash flows, but they spent 1.6 billion on dividends and half a billion on buybacks, which is a pretty big issue. At this point, a dividend cut is pretty much inevitable. I would expect something like a 30% cut, which would bring the yield to around 4%. But they actually announced pretty much the opposite during the Q3 release. Vale has approved a 2.1 billion dividend representing a yield of around 3.5% and buybacks worth another 3.5% of the company, although over 18 months. They have current assets of almost 14.7 billion, which is enough to cover the current liabilities of 13.6 billion. The non-current ones represent around 36 billion, and we can see that the notes that they issued have the closest maturity in 2026 and then 2030. This means that they shouldn't have that much pressure to pay the debt, so they are fine from this point of view. Since iron is the company's main source of income and it depends a lot on the global economy and China, something like a recession is going to affect them a lot. This is a normal commodity producer, meaning that the stock price can easily fall 70% or rise 300% in the right environment. We have to remember that if we get to a scenario that would generate such a response, like a recession in the US or a huge recovery in China for example, the market is not going to be rational. It's not going to trade the stock at some average price to earnings ratio that takes into account the growth or something like that. It's going to be pure hysteria. I remember some years ago when gold went to 2000 per ounce from 1200, over the course of a few months I had 2, 3 or even 4 days every week where my gold mining stocks would go up like 5-6% per day. But I think that finding a fair value that would offer a good risk and reward is probably the best way to go with this type of company, so this is what I'll try to estimate in this video. Keep in mind that this is not the same as a bottom. As I said, the market is not going to be rational, so even from that fair value we can see a 50% drop or who knows how much. However, buying this below fair value can result not only in some massive profits, but also 2-digit dividends, as we've seen every time before. The dividend varies a lot depending on the price of iron, but it's usually been at a yield on cost of around 4-5% in the past, which is similar to the yield from today. But 2 years ago, for example, when they made almost 4 times more money than today, they paid around $2.50 per share, which would be the equivalent of a roughly 20% dividend to the current price. So imagine buying this in 2016, for example, when the stock itself was $2.50. That one dividend from a good year would have paid for the entire investment alone, and you could have sold for something like a 7x profit last year, not including any other dividend. They are also spending around 1 billion per year on buybacks since 2021, which is around 1.5 to 2% of the market cap. They need around 5 billion in capex in a normal year, so it's not very likely for them to have a negative cash flow even during the bottom of the cycle. This is the kind of cash flow volatility that I'm looking for in a miner. Decent money and not negative during bad times, and jackpots during good ones. Now, a risk that we have to take into account with any miner out there is the likelihood of an accident or something that would generate some kind of fine. We see companies having to close mines due to floodings, dam failures and so on all the time, and the bigger you are, the more likely these things are to happen, no matter how careful you may be. Vale itself is a good example of this. They still pay a lot of money for what happened back in 2019 on top of the decharacterization process. This is mandatory in Brazil and they expect to finish it for all the current dams by 2035, so there is a long way to go. Vale also has some exposure to nickel, which is a very promising metal that I talked about in this video, so for me that by itself is a very big plus. In fact, Vale is the largest nickel producer on the planet, and they also mine some copper, gold, silver, cobalt and more. The company's nickel and copper operations are valued at around 25 billion, and they recently agreed to sell around 10% of it to some Saudi Arabian fund. Copper and nickel should move in a similar way to iron, since all three depend on the economy, but the potential is much more promising. I say this because the production is probably not going to be able to keep up with the demand coming from electric vehicles, green energy transition and so on. But again, more on this in the other video. As for evaluation, a company like Valley is normally pretty simple to do, but due to all the money printing and inflation, it's going to be hard to know the average price of commodities. Anyway, in a bad scenario like a recession or something that would make the price of iron go below average, we can expect Valley to produce an average free cash flow of around 3, maybe 4 billion. I can tell you from experience that the market wouldn't want to hear about iron miners during such a time, so the price to free cash flow ratio can be even as low as 5 or maybe even less. If that happens, that's a market cap of around 15 to 20 billion and a stock price of around 4. This roughly 70% drop is normal for a commodity producer like Valley, but it's also, almost the worst case scenario. The dividend, and by the way I'm going to report it to the current price in every scenario, should be around 3%, which might at least match inflation in the bad years, so you don't lose much value. When the price of iron is around the average, accounting for a bit of growth thanks to Valley's other metals and inflation, we can expect them to produce around 10 billion per year. For a price to free cash flow ratio of 10, which is pretty low, that's a market cap of 100 billion for a stock price of around 23 and a profit of around 75%. The dividend would reach around 8 to maybe 10%, which is great, but imagine if you buy this in the previous scenario when the stock is a third of today's price. Now, when commodities are at the high end of the cycle, they can easily make 20, maybe even as much as 30 billion. In reality, the market would go crazy about them and probably trade the stock at more than 20 times that amount, but let's be more conservative and set the ratio at 15. That's a market cap of 300 billion and a stock price of around 70, so a bit more than a 5x from the current price. Now, you may be wondering why the stock never went to this level back in 2021, even if the price of commodities was up and they made so much money. Well, there are many factors behind it. Number 1, iron prices were up significantly only for a couple of months, after which they crashed to some prices that are below today's level. At the same time, you had inflation worries, pandemic issues, then you had rising interest rates, issues in China's real estate sector, recession fears, and so on. Add the fact that the massive dividends that they paid were also causing the price to fall, and you can see why it only went halfway through this price. At the end of the day, Valley is a good way to get exposure to iron and even some nickel, but I am going to wait because I think that the current price is not really a screaming buy. I try to buy this kind of cyclicals when the market hates them because the potential from that point would be really incredible. Overall, the company is fine, maybe not the best iron miner out there, but you also have to take into account the nickel, and since the company is originally listed in Brazil, you also benefit from the US dollar losing value. This is something I haven't mentioned before, but when you invest in ADRs, meaning American Depository Receipts or similar instruments, you also gain from the dollar losing value or lose from it gaining. Maybe one day you saw a stock on the German market be, let's say, flat, zero, while the American version of the same stock was up or down like 1-2%. That's usually the reason. This is not something to ignore. Back in 2020, I remember making around 25% just from having my money in the dollar and my currency losing value against it. If the dollar is going to lose value against other currencies, which can usually happen from cutting interest rates, this kind of investment can have a very nice boost. As always, what I cover in my videos shouldn't be enough for you to make any investment decision, so please do your own research before investing in anything. If you want to see more videos like this one, please leave a like and even a comment to help me out, and make sure to subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.